Much sir, for taking out time for us. Always good to get perspective from you. Let's welcome in a very special guest now. Mr. Shishir Joshipura, MD and CEO at PRAJ Industries is with us. So thank you so much for taking out time for us. Always good to get perspective from you. Can you just start by the news flow about cabinet approving ethanol price hike? Will this move aid industry? It will lead to capex in the industry. What is the sense that you get around all the news flow that's going on the ethanol front?
Good afternoon. In hiking the price of ethanol, the Government of India has actually reinforced some country's transition to renewable biofuels. It is reinforcing its commitment to COP21, and it's also pushing forward the agenda for energy self-reliance while reducing the import bill. And I think this is a very what I would call as a progressive step in the direction in which the policy environment has been there for quite some time now. And it clearly indicates a long-term commitment on part of governments to actually help our economic transition to renewable biofuels. So from all those perspectives, and given the fact that currently the gap between demand and supply is huge in favor of demand, so the supply is far short of what the demand is, and with the increased commitments on both the ethanol blending program plus what's likely to happen on the technology side in terms of blending of diesel with ethanol, etc., I think we can only look forward to some good days ahead in terms of the demand of ethanol, and obviously the demand is very high. It will lead to capacity formation and capex thereof.
Right. So one, of course, is the capacity formation, what the government has been doing and how things are moving. Second is the general demand for ethanol. How are you seeing that? Do you believe that itself has taken an uptick around the world?
Yes. So what's happening is very clearly we are witnessing the fact that under the different blending programs itself, the governments across the world are pushing, because very clearly for those economies that can produce ethanol from their own feedstocks, it makes eminent sense. For some other countries which may not have feedstock available, it still makes sense, at least in terms of this being a very sustainable and CO2-friendly fuel blending. So there is a very clear established concept out there which says why ethanol should be blended. And two or three factors that drive the demand for ethanol. One, of course, is the change in the blending ratios. In India itself, we are committed to change from the current about 5% level to 20% level by 2030. So that's a journey that itself will take the demand up. And that's happening in many economies across the world. The second part, of course, is the fact that we are also witnessing newer technologies emerge which will also enable, say, blending in diesel, which is not the case today, which this is currently being blended only in petrol. If that happens, diesel consumptions are far more in volume terms compared to petroleum economy, and that itself will lead to a significant jump. So the third one, which is also especially for India, is the fact that we are a sugar surplus country, and we are producing sugar far in excess of what we need. There is a clear directive from the government to reduce sugar production, given the economics of farmer dues, the condition of the sugar mills, and the fact that ethanol is highly value accretive for the producers, so for the sugar mills per se. This enables them to become financially stronger on their balance sheet. So government is pushing, and we can also see the industry beginning to take action to create capacities away from sugar production. So we will see rise in capacities that get built out of sugar syrup, juice, bio-syrup, or from molasses B, as compared to only molasses C-based ethanol production. We're also seeing initiatives from the government to actually use the surplus grain which is available in the country to convert that to ethanol, because just lying in the godown, there's a life for these grains, and at some moment in time, they're no longer fit for human consumption. So it's good to have them converted to a better value and a richer value for the country and the economy. And I think that's another step that has been announced. So all in all, very positive signals for creating the demand and capacity both.
Okay, well, yeah, diversification in the utilization of ethanol, definitely a big plus point. There's also, of course, that price hike in ethanol as well. Mr. Joshipura, thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now.